Commanders' new offensive coordinator, David Blau, says that the Washington Commander offense will be built around getting Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, 10 targets per game. That's pretty good news. Now, will they draft a wide receiver like this man, Jordan Tyson, who honestly is the best chance to be in the next top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League? You've heard me talk about it all offseason. Soon, a lot of the Fickle Freddies and other shows are they're gonna catch up. I heard Smitty talking about Jordan Tyson, and now I like him too. That's coming downstream. Pickens. Will Pickens get traded? We did a whole live stream on this, but we're certainly going to touch on it again today on the 8 p.m. show here. Mike Evans. We got a little news on Mike Evans. We got a little news on Kenneth Walker. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
I heard Smitty talking about Jordan Tyson. He must be pretty good. Let's get to that in a second. First, David Blau. Who the Blau is David Blau? He's the offensive coordinator. Maybe the next up-and-coming Sean McVay / Shanahan. And David Blau says he's going to build an offense that caters toward 10 targets a game for Scary Terry. We love to hear it. Not to mention, JD5 is going to be doing some good work from that kind of vantage point, slinging the rock to this man, Scary Terry, 10 times a game. This is a NFL draft that has a lot of implications and pretty much, a situation where these 2 wide receivers, Tate and Tyson and Mekhi Lemon as well, these 3 wide receivers, this running back named Jeremiah Love, you might have heard of him. Jeremiah Love may be going to KC, maybe going to New Orleans. I kind of think New Orleans is the best landing spot for Jeremiah Love, and it makes a lot of sense here. So let's move him here. Jordan Tyson could be, we'll talk about him more in detail in a second, could be a Washington Commander. Could be a Cleveland Brown, could be a New York Giant, but most likely a New York Giant would be Tate if it's going to be one of these wide receivers. I think that Tennessee might strongly consider Jordan Tyson. Now, Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, and Carnell Tate, the 3 top wide receivers, and there is no argument that they're the 3 top wide receivers. The only argument is which one is one. Some say Mekhi Lemon. That's kind of the spreadsheet, Excel sheet Eric is like, Mekhi Lemon, I've heard him on a bunch of spreadsheet shows, Smitty. They say Mekhi Lemon's really good, so I'm going to pretend he's really good too, because I heard it. Now, he is solid, but where he goes will determine his value. Jordan Tyson can kind of go anywhere. Carnell Tate, where he goes, can determine his value as well. But if he goes to the right spot, he could be top 6 to 10 material himself. Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate have 6 to 10 wide receiver appeal. You could almost say one of them. I don't think both of them will be in amazing spots. One of them hopefully is. But these guys have one of the 2, Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, have the ability, this is Jordan Tyson right here, have the ability to maybe be even a top 5 wide receiver of the future. You don't want to expect that. You can't really even draft for it. You don't even want to really whisper it. It's kind of one of those quietly, like, we just hope that the landing spot for Tyson is glorious. We hope that the landing spot for Carnell Tate is fantastic. We hope that these 2 guys land in situations where they're the number 1 for their team, not Tate going to the Giants to be second fiddle to neighbors. Now Tate is minimized. Tyson goes to Washington would be good because McLaurin's older. So I don't mind if they share that role year 1. McLaurin falls off in week 14, 15, 16 because he's older and Tyson goes on a tear. That would be an ideal spot. And the reason I bring up Tyson now, even though we're about to talk about him in a little bit, this is not the Tyson conversation, is maybe Tyson ends up landing in Washington, which would then affect Terry McLaurin's 10 targets a game, or maybe it wouldn't. I think JD5 bounces back in a major way this year. I'm not saying you draft him expecting JD5 to be what he was getting drafted to be last year, you don't have to worry about that. You're taking JD5 at a QB6, QB7 capacity in most drafts right now. So the value is, the upside is extremely high. The risk is very low. And he's a fantastic quarterback to grab in the middle rounds, really. And then you pair him with a Dak, you pair him with a player like Baker and Brissett, and you have a three-headed situation later. This is a very, very, very good value. I don't think we ever see JD5 in Dynasty this cheap, and I don't think we see him ever in redraft get drafted as late as he's getting drafted right now, as QB7, QB6, QB8, depends on where you're drafting. Jordan Tyson in Washington would, yes, make McLaurin's value go down, but JD5's value would skyrocket. Now, do I think that they draft Jordan Tyson? The way Blau is talking about McLaurin makes me feel like maybe not, but things can change. And also keep in mind, Adam Peters is really the head honcho in terms of personnel and acquisitions and draft scouting and really, really deciding what direction the team's going to go, not David Blau. David Blau will be heavily involved. I'm sure Adam Peters, who identified George Kittle, Brock Purdy, this guy is a monster, JD5. This is a talent-seeking monster in Adam Peters, the GM of the Washington Commanders, that will consult, and Blau and Peters will together decide who they're drafting. But this could be something where we're hearing Blau speak about his situation that he currently has now. You also have posturing. You don't want to come out and say, yeah, we love McLaurin, but we've got a trick up our sleeve. He may not be our number one player, McLaurin, come week one. We have something we're planning. Like, they're not going to come out and say that. There's posturing going on. It's smoke season. It's misdirection season. So if Tyson is on their radar, they're not telling anybody. Of course, they're going to be like, yeah, he's going to do amazing. Zach Ertz is going to lead the league in receptions. You're misdirection. See this over here? See over this? Boom! Take Tyson right there. Nobody sees it coming. So, but in all of that being said, I do believe that bounce back no matter what, no matter if they go after a wide receiver in round one, and McLaurin's going to have a pretty nice year. I think that in best ball, underdog promo code Smitty, you could get away with the McLaurin as long as he's getting drafted in like a sneaky territory. Sometimes goes higher than I would like, but you could get away with the McLaurin as a wide receiver too. You could do that. I would not make him my number one by any means, and it depends on the build that I'm building to make him my two, or whether I'm going to go after a better wide receiver too. But he's certainly got the capability of being a 1,100 yard, 9 touchdown, 100 reception type of player, with JD5 looking to bounce back, looking to be healthy, David Blau looking to stretch the field and really turn this offense into a more exciting offense than. And this is why they moved on to Blau. They needed to get JD5 in his bag again. They knew this is a critical year. They needed to do it, and they needed to do it now. So very, very much ready to see this thing take off. I saw a video of JD5 saying he wants Aiyuk. Bro, that's as old as the internet. Like, everybody knows they're best friends, but that doesn't mean the Washington Commanders want anything to do with Aiyuk. So it doesn't. They're best friends. Like, if I asked you, Angel, would you like to play football with your best friend? What are you going to say? There's no relevance. Like, they could have traded for Aiyuk before he became a basket case. Now he's a basket case, bro. Aiyuk is an absolute basket case. I don't think Adam Peters, Adam Peters, remember, he's the one that drafted and pinpointed Aiyuk, and Aiyuk was good. There was a moment in time where Aiyuk was good, and Adam Peters saw it. But Aiyuk fell apart when Adam Peters left. Adam Peters has nothing to do with the Aiyuk unraveling. But Adam Peters was smart. He knew what Aiyuk was going through, and he could have traded for him. Remember JD5 and Aiyuk were hanging out during Aiyuk's holdout. Aiyuk was demanding a trade, and Aiyuk and JD5 were shopping. They were going and getting tailored suits together, and they were hanging out together. And everybody's like, oh my God, you see the Instagram post where they're hanging out together? It didn't matter. Didn't matter what JD5 wanted. Now, they of course, consult with them. They want to get him who he wants. But Aiyuk ain't going... If Adam Peters plays this smart, and I think he will, you don't want Aiyuk on your team. He's a basket case. Absolute basket case. I don't know why people think Aiyuk is still something right now. The man could have won a Super Bowl. The Niners could have used his help, but he decided to sit on his hands and be a coward and not go play ball. The Niners they tried to get a hold of him. He wouldn't return calls. They're heading into a playoff. Doesn't return calls. They wanted him to play. He could have played in a Super Bowl. He could have played in maybe a Super Bowl if this guy showed up. The Niners had a chance, especially when the Niners were fighting for that home field advantage. You're talking about walking into a game that would have been very critical. If the Niners had gained home field advantage, we might be singing a totally different tune. Seattle grabbed the spot, and Seattle walked straight into the NFL Super Bowl. That was a very, 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 very important part of how Seattle got to the big game to begin with, is because of the seeding. And that seeding, which was almost in favor of the 49ers, walking straight from this one seed, straight down right here, walking clearly advantageous, home field advantage all the way through. Seattle took care of business. No one's taking anything away from the Seahawks, but I'm just telling you, Aiyuk's a basket case. I want nothing to do with Aiyuk. Trash. McLaurin has a lot of appeal this year at the cost of entry. That's basically what we came here to say. Guys, subscribe if you're new. Hit that thumb up button. This is your boy goes live more than anybody I think you can find. I go live 2 to 5 times per day here on YouTube. I'm live at the same time on Rumble. And once Rumble gets to 10,000 subscribers or followers, we will be doing another additional show that will be kind of coined the Rumble show, you know. And here's the link for all you YouTubers that need to get on over there and subscribe to the Rumble. I got 420 over there. I got Turbo in the building. I got New Age Outlaw over on Rumble. I've got Landman over on Rumble. I've got Turbo was the first in the building, I think, over on Rumble. Thank you, Turbo. Appreciate you. Let's move on. We got Mike Evans. Mike Evans news. Based on conversations with those closest to him, according to ESPN, Mike Evans is expected to continue playing football in 2026. Now, we kind of already figured this, right? Good to hear, though. Good to hear. Good to know we're on the right track. We've been on the right track this whole entire time as we anticipate that Mike Evans is returning to play football. I mean, we all kind of thought this was the case, but Mike Evans is one of, if not the best total free agent wide receiver option if you exclude George Pickens, who's going to be franchise tagged. But Evans is a complete free agent, can go wherever he wants. Wandell, Dobbs, I like Dobbs a lot. I think Alec Pierce is kind of quietly the best overall long-term free agent option on the market. These are all unrestricted free agents down here. These are rookies, Tyson, Tate, and Mekhi Lemon. You heard me just talk about those three. And then these guys are trade potential targets, franchise tag Pickens, trade option, A.J. Brown, BTJ could be traded, Adunze could be traded. These are the best landing spots for wide receivers. KC is really depending on whether Rice, you could almost take this KC one off, to be honest, because I think that will be a little bit confusing. I'll just put it right there. This little cluster of who's next best landing spot, I'll move these over. Tennessee might actually be, I would say, at this moment in time, the best landing spot. I don't think New York is. He is for Jackson Dart. That's a great spot for a wide receiver for Jackson Dart. But these are some of the most appealing landing spots for some of the free agent wide receivers, the trade targets. I would say these four, though, are the top landing spots for a wide receiver. And as we just talked about with Washington, McLaurin's older. So this is really a one final run for McLaurin. It is a very good long-term landing spot, Washington, for a wide receiver, whether it be a Alec Pierce or end up being a trade for Pickens or BTJ or Adunze. Raiders are a fantastic spot with Mendoza coming into town and Kubiak doing exactly what he did with Sam Darnold with Fernando Mendoza, the Moondozanator, the Fernastronaut. Mendoza is going to ball out under Kubiak's tutelage over here in LV. Buffalo is a fantastic spot, of course, and then probably the best spot of them all would be New England, who has no no big dog wide receiver, and a lot of hate going toward Drake May right now. Drake May is going to have quite a season if he gets himself an A.J. Brown in a trade, a BTJ in a trade, a Dunze in a trade, a Pickens in a trade. But we're here because we were referencing, I get sidetracked more than anybody you know. We go live more than anybody you know. We get sidetracked more than anybody you know.
Let him cook.
Sidetrack Sammy is what my secondary name can be sometimes. We came here to discuss that this Mike Evans character was going to play ball. We've been talking about all offseason that he's going to play ball. Well, he's going to play ball in 2026, according to ESPN. And I truly believe that Mike Evans has a little gas left in the tank. Where might he go? Where might he land? Well, I just showed you the 4 landing spots that make the most sense from a team perspective. Who needs a wide receiver? Imagine Josh Allen throwing to Mike Evans. Hey, Mike Evans, he's over there somewhere. Let me just toss it over there. Fantastic. Washington Commanders, let's give JD5 one of the most pinpoint accurate quarterbacks in the National Football League. It's not even close. This guy is an absolute menace with his pinpoint accuracy, and everybody acting like he's trash. Can't wait for the rebound. You give him a Mike Evans, guess what? He's going to ball out. Now, even New England, who you could say, do they want a younger player? Alec Pierce makes the most sense for New England if you're just looking at this board because he's long-term. He's great down the field. He's such a great downfield threat. Drake May proved during the season to be the best downfield throwing quarterback in the National Football League and one of the better ones we've seen in maybe ever. And you can rip on Drake May for this, that, the other, bad playoff performances, whatever you want to do. This will be an intriguing addition for a New England Patriot team because Alec Pierce is pretty damn underrated. So this would be a real good addition. But Mike Evans would also be intriguing. And why not do both? Why not do both? Why not say, you know what? You want to make fun of our golden boy Drake May? How about we give him Mike Evans and Alec Pierce? Let's just do it all. You know, you're talking about, this is just money. It's just money, and it's just 1 year for Mike Evans, essentially. You know, the guy barely wants to return, according to ESPN. So, do you think he needs to sign a 4-year deal? Make it a very team-friendly, upfront type of deal, and you bring in Alec Pierce for the long term, you could do it. I think New England, these two teams that just represented in the Super Bowl might be two of the most likely teams because of cap space and everything. Seattle, where was I? meant to go over here. Seattle, they might grab Alec Pierce. That would be a pretty phenomenal signing by Seattle. So Seattle ain't done. They got so much cap space. They're a team that's going to be a big threat at pulling it, and they just won a Super Bowl. They just not only made a Super Bowl, they won a Super Bowl. And now all of a sudden they've got some of the most money in the NFL to spend. You don't think this is an attractive place to land? You don't think Seattle's going to have their pick of whatever they want? They can spend whatever they want. Seattle just may have repeated, at least as a conference showing team, at least maybe top 4 in the conference, let's say. I'd say divisional round guaranteed showing if they go out and utilize this money and they go bring in the right player. They bring in Alec Pierce, they're probably a divisional repeat performer. So Mike Evans, very, very intrigued about where he goes. And I think where he goes, you'll get the different production. Goes to Buffalo, you might see different production. You might see a lot of touchdowns, low yardage. He goes to New England, you might see a mixed bag of everything. Maybe he gets hurt, though. He goes somewhere like LV, you probably see 800 yards and 8 touchdowns or something. But I don't know that I see a 1,300, 1,200 yard, even 1,100 yard, maybe 1,000 yards even, maybe 1,050, maybe 1,000 even, maybe 1,001 yards in the final game as they try and get him to that 1,000-yard number like they always try and do. And maybe he gets you 8, 9, 10 touchdowns, though. That's where Mike Evans is going to be dangerous. And before you say, wait a minute, Smitty, that's not acceptable to me. Why are we talking about Mike Evans getting you 10 touchdowns and 800 yards? That's not good. That's not good, Smitty. Au contraire. I must inform you that there was a man named Devante Adams that finished as wide receiver, depending on your scoring, 8, 9, 10. And this man had 789 yards. Not even 800 yards. Devante, can you believe that? Ziggy, How many receiving yards did Devante Adams have in 2025? Let's just confirm. Let's do a little confirmation.
Devante Adams had 789 receiving
789 yards. How is this guy not number 8? How is this guy number 8? Because he scored a league-leading 14 tuds. When you pull in a tud a game, that's a lot of pull. You're pulling on a lot of tuds. And this guy, Devante Adams, did it. Why can't Mike Evans have 10, 11 touchdowns, 800, 900 yards, and still be a viable high-end wide receiver too? That's the kind of impact he can have in the right spot. Let's see here. Ziggy off. Ziggy off. No one asked you, Ziggy. Turn off. Please turn off. This is the worst part about. I wish I could turn back his update because he doesn't shut up. He just waits for more. He doesn't shut up. And he doesn't turn off when you tell him to turn off. You have to tell him to turn off 3 times. I have to go. That's why you hear me go, Ziggy, turn off. Ziggy, turn off. Turn off. Turn off. Turn off. Turn off. I know. We need to go back to Kruger full time. Let's see if Kruger would even answer that question right. Because Kruger sometimes uses like a year-old data. And that's the part of why we even turn to the Zigmeister. Hey, Kruger, how many receiving yards did Devante Adams have in 2025?
The 2025 season, Devante Adams had 789 receiving yards while playing for the Los Angeles Rams. He also caught 60 passes and led the entire NFL that year with 14 receiving.
Okay, now thanks. So you know, maybe we do turn back to the Krugmeister. He might have also had a little bit of an update in terms of some data. So we'll have to weigh it out. I think we're gonna go back to the Krugmeister. I can't stand the way the Zigmeister will interrupt me, not listen to me. Seems like his data's a little better, but I don't know. What's more important to you guys? Accurate information or just a much better listen? I don't know. It's a tough dilemma. Especially if I'm going to put my cojones on the line now. I'll get some data from my sidekick, start rolling with it on screen, and somebody goes, Smitty, wait a minute. Devante Adams didn't have 75 touchdowns. It was 14. And then I've got to look like an a-hole. George Pickens, we did a whole live stream on this, so I'm not going to touch on this too much. But George Pickens, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, we reported on this already. This is not new information. But because it's been so widespread today, I did an additional compartmentalized live stream on it just to make sure it was easy to find. We got 5 gifted memberships from Husseini doing it live.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah,
Uh,
buddy.
appreciate my boy Husseini dropping the 5. Please thank him if you got one from Husseini. Appreciate all my rumblers over there. I see New Age in the building throwing up a 100 emoji. Appreciate you. George Pickens. So the news today was that George Pickens is going to be franchise tagged, but he could be tagged and traded by the Dallas Cowboys for a 2nd round pick. And everybody thinks they know what's going on with this situation. Let me just be blunt and honest with everyone right now. No one knows anything. I don't know. Nobody knows. Jerry doesn't even know. And that's why I know no one knows what Jerry knows, because Jerry doesn't know what he knows because he doesn't know anything. And if he wakes up on one side of the bed one day, he'll do one thing. He wakes up on the... So none of this is predictable with an extreme degree of confidence. So everyone can close their trap and stop running their mouth about how this is going to go, because this is Jerry's world. There's a reason that phrase exists, because Jerry is not somebody that you can predict. And Parsons is a perfect example of that. The thing that is going to happen here is that George Pickens will get tagged. They will try and work out a long-term deal. George Pickens will ask for top 5 wide receiver money. Jerry will not want to pay top 5 wide receiver money. Then Pickens will then be upset. And then from there, we don't know where it goes. You get a divide. You get the whole team upset and angry. You've got Lamb and other players saying we'll restructure in order to keep Pickens. We need to keep Pickens. The logical move is to re-sign George Pickens. Like, everyone here knows that that's the logical move, but Jerry will not want to pay top 5 overall wide receiver money. You know what the franchise tag amount is for a wide receiver? It's not really the top 5 annual salary. It is the salary based on, you got to understand, like in the example of Patrick Mahomes, who signed that 10-year, $450 million deal. Mahomes' first year was like, I say like $900 million or $700 million, or I'm sorry, $900,000 or $700,000. His second year was again like $900,000. Mahomes didn't make any sort of great money. I think the third year he might have got $1 million, and this is on his $450 million contract. His next fourth year, I think it was his 5th or 6th year, where he finally got the $47 million. But they kicked the can down the road. So when you look at wide receivers, you're not really looking at the actual annual average of the wide receiver. You're looking at a very, very low number. The number for wide receivers on the franchise tag is $29 million. That's a lot of money. I'm not saying it isn't, but that's not anything close to the likely $40 million per year is what Pickens will be asking for. Pickens wants to be paid like a top 5 wide receiver, probably top 1 to 5. And the reason for that is because in a year from now, if Pickens is number 5, he'll be number 8. Like, Pickens could be the number 5 wide receiver salary-wise at the beginning of the offseason, and at the end, he could be the 8th. That's just the way the off seasons go. That's the way contracts go. That's the way salaries go. Now, there won't be a lot of signings in the off season. We got Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua is about to reset the market. Now, this is what's crazy. The moment Puka Nacua gets his extension, now I don't know what that number is going to look like. It could very much look like $40 million a year, $41 million a year, $42 million a year, $38 million a year. We don't really know. The moment that this man resets the market, he will get his contract extension before George Pickens gets his new deal. This will set the tone for this. If he signs for $42 million or $41 million per year, or whatever it ends up being, let's just call it $40 million per year. Let's say that's what he gets. Guess what George Pickens wants? Nothing less than $40 million per year. And so this could get very ugly before it gets better or before it gets resolved. And there's a chance that the Cowboys are going to ask him to play on the franchise tag of $29 million, which he will refuse to until the 11th hour, holding out, thus being an injury risk anyway. And then you have a divide and potentially a trade. The second round value is what the going price is for Pickens right now, because whoever does get him has to then sign him to a new massive contract, and you're just not going to get a first round pick. Most likely, you're not going to get a first round pick from anybody. That is going to be the going rate. Remember that the Cowboys got him for a third round pick. So the way the Cowboys are looking at this, they flip it into a 2. They make money on the deal and they move on their merry way. They could bring in Mike Evans. They could bring in somebody else and not have to spend that not only the draft capital, they get draft capital instead of spending that third rounder. Now they get a second and they don't have to spend the monster long-term amount of money on George Pickens. We know Pickens is the best option. We know that. Jerry does not. Maybe he does tomorrow. Maybe he doesn't tomorrow. Maybe he does 7 days from now. Maybe he doesn't. We don't know. But if he gets traded, that second rounder is probably going to be what you would get back. Now, here's where I think it ends up ultimately happening. Jerry messed up with Parsons. Everybody knows that. He's always going to look to rectify that. And he's also going to look to make a trade that you can't really break down. If it's just, a second rounder, you get 4 Pickens, that is pretty obviously bad. Okay, that's a big L for the Cowboys. If you do something along the lines of you trade Pickens, you get Crosby, you incorporate some other picks involved in this, and now all of a sudden you have yourself a crazy deal that gets the that potentially puts Crosby in a Dallas Cowboy uniform to rectify the Parsons move, and then Pickens goes to the Raiders, who definitely need a wide receiver and might have Crosby unhappy, and, Crosby could stay, this is where a trade probably happens, where it doesn't even need to come to a head for it to really go down that way. So that's the one option. You hear it kicked around a lot. It makes the most sense. And if the Cowboys were to walk away from George Pickens, it better be on a deal like that so that you at least have trouble evaluating it, knowing that you got talent back. So more to come on this, but if you think this is even close to the end of this saga, it's just beginning, because this man is going to be upset. This man, Puka Nacua, is probably going to reset the market, which is going to reset Pickens' expectation. And remember, Pickens' agent is also going to be in charge of a lot of this. Jerry doesn't work with agents. This is going to be a mess. It's going to be a disaster, but we're here for it. We'll be here for it every step of the way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next piece of news is this man, Bucky mother-freaking Irving. And we talked about this earlier. This is just something I want to bring up, even though we already did a whole live stream on this. Go look for it. But I just briefly wanted to say that this is going around news wires right now, even though we already broke it, already covered it, already broke it down real briefly. OC Zach Robinson, who comes over from Atlanta, who just turned Bijan Robinson into an 800-yard receiving running back, 1,400 yards on the ground, 11 total touchdowns, and 79 receptions. Does that compute? Does that compute for all of you right now? 79 receptions, 800 plus yards, 1,400 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns. This was a season for the ages for Bijan. And now the man that helped orchestrate that heads over to Tampa. And what's the first thing out of his mouth? Zach Robinson, the new OC of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, very talented team. He says Bucky Irving he sees Bucky Irving in very similar light to Bijan. There's nothing that he can't do in the passing game. Goes on to say there's not a route he can't run on the ground, and that his skill set reminds him very much of Bijan Robinson. We're going to see an explosion. And for those fickle Freddies or repeating Rodgers that heard on another channel, oh my God, I just heard on another channel that Jack Robinson took Bijan out at the goal line, and I wasn't happy with the 800 yards, 79 receptions, 1,400 rushing yards, and 11 touchdowns without any quarterback play for the entire second half of the season, where they couldn't even get near the red zone properly. I've got news for you. That is just noise. I could care less about those people. No offense. This is Zach Robinson. Even if he takes out Bijan at the goal line because he likes to use Sean Tucker, Baker Mayfield's going to have this team in a better position 9 times out of 10 at and around the goal line. Bucky's going to have his choice of touchdowns from the 8-yard line, from the 5-yard line, from the 12-yard line, the occasional goal line, from the 3, from the 5. Bijan didn't have the luxury in some cases that Bucky's going to have, with Baker Mayfield being a much more important aspect of this offense run by Zach Robinson at and around the goal line. There'll be so many more scoring opportunities. Baker's going to have a bounce back year too. Baker, who got a bad rap for not doing much baking in the kitchen last year, Baker's going to be quite the buy low this year, or the very attractive second quarterback, especially in best ball, that you draft to coincide with what you've taken in the earlier rounds of QB. If you take Josh Allen, you take whatever. JD5 and Baker. This is a really good combo. Baker's going to be great. The Wolf with a 5 gifted memberships. Wolf, appreciate you. Wolf, thank you, pal. Appreciate you dropping the 5 gifted memberships. If anybody got one of those from Wolf, please thank Wolf. Thank you, Rumble. Appreciate you. I see you. I keep checking on Rumble just to make sure there isn't something there lingering. You guys are absolutely amazing. The Rumblers, the YouTubers, we got, it's the dead off season. We still have, between the two, Rumble and YouTube, still having a solid amount of people in here every single day, the diehards. And with the free agency kicking into gear, everybody's taking, in a general sense, a big little break right now. But the diehards are here. And as soon as free agency starts kicking in, we do live streams whenever news breaks. It's going to be a wild March. March is going to be a fantastic time. Love Bucky. Love Bucky. Bucky's going to have a very, 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 very solid bounce back season. And for those that don't understand what this all means, Bucky Irving getting the Bijan treatment, this means this right here.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
Bucky Irving and Breece Hall
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
are two of the best buy lows in fantasy, period, in existing dynasty. These are two of the best underdog fantasy promo code Smitty, best third round picks you can find in the third round in 2026. And these two guys, Bucky and Hall, will probably see the highest increase in ADP in the coming weeks and months. These are steals that you might not be able to capitalize on in August and September yearly drafts. So you need to take advantage of the best ball mania and big boards and all that and draft early using code Smitty. Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. But I'm telling you right now,
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
if you don't take advantage of these values,
Loads
you're going
dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
you're going to be very, very upset at yourself. Because there will be a day very, very soon where Hall's a first to second round turn player. If Breece Hall goes to KC, his value goes from the third round to first round. Or at least first to second round turn. 13 overall, 14 overall, 11 overall. If Bucky keeps getting talked up, if this, there are not a lot of people consuming content right now. You are an OG watching right now. You are one of the original fantasy football gangsters watching this content, absorbing this content, taking it in. Look at the baby. Look at the baby. This is the place where you consume and you learn and you have a strategic advantage that your league mates don't have. And when more people are watching and consuming, and a Zach Robinson comment comes back into play, or someone regurgitates that comment and just talks about it during a busier time of the year, guess what's happening? Guess what's happening? Bucky's going to round 2. Mid-round 2, late round 2, somewhere in that territory. The moment this guy Zach Robinson starts continuing to chirp about how good Bucky's going to be in the light of Bijan, in the form of his Bijan, as his new Bijan, we're going to see Bucky rise. Take advantage of Hall. Take advantage of Bucky while you still can, because this will not last all offseason. You are here at the ground floor of taking advantage of this opportunity. That is the Buckmeister. That is Baker. That is Zach Robinson. That is everything you need to know there for now. And yes, Ibuka is going to be fantastic. And he's so doubted, pissed so many people off. Ibuka is going to be such a steal in 2026 fantasy football. I'm taking Ibuka in a lot of drafts. And I'm probably going to oversaturate on the Buchmeister more than most people. And the fact that people think that he's trash, they don't know ball. Anybody that thinks this isn't the most talented wide receiver on the Buccaneer roster by a country mile doesn't know ball. Anybody that, or they're so just, I don't know, traumatized by the way that the season unfolded for Baker and Buka. I could understand being temporarily, unaware, and that's just a temporary thing. You can blame it on that if you want. But Buka is going to have an outstanding season. And he's going in like 6-7 round territory right now. He's an absolute steal. Just one of the biggest steals in fantasy right now in those middle rounds. New Raiders coach Clint Kubiak said he'll call plays for the Raiders. We knew that was likely, but just hearing it one more time obviously allows people that had questions to know. And it allows us to know that what Sam Darnold did, a good quarterback, played great. We'll probably see Fernando Mendoza, the Fernastronaut, the Mendozanator, the Moondoza. We're going to see Fernando Moondoza play like Sam Darnold, probably as a rookie, because that's what Clint Kubiak does.
Let him cook.
It's going to be good. It's going to be a good year in LV. It's going to be a real good year in LV. How much time? What are we at? What's the time here? How long have we been live? 40 minutes on this news. We'll open the phone lines for a little bit. We're only going to be here another 15 minutes or so. Then we'll be back at midnight on Rumble and on YouTube. Then we'll be back again on the Dynasty channel after that show. So we have 2 more live streams tonight. The Graveyard Show at midnight Eastern, the Dynasty Show after that, and the Graveyard Show will be on Rumble and on YouTube. Travis Hunter, this news right here. We got a super chat from Husseini who said, Smitty, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've got something I need to say, and I need to say it now. Super chat gets standing ovation
Alert.
here.
Super chat alert.
I'm going to try and do that all offseason. All offseason, super chats get immediate standing ovations if I can. Unless I'm in the middle of a rant, I'll do the standing ovation right after. JD5 and Buka, both 2026 comeback players of the year. We've got a revenge tour right here. Buka's not on it. I need to make sure he's on it now. But here's the revenge tour so far. It's a nice list. Yeah, Buka needs to be on that.
It's time for some revenge right now. Revenge tour, revenge tour. Revenge tour, revenge tour.
That's nice looking crew right there. I don't think this revenge tour can miss. You know, every year you think, oh, that's a good looking group. This group looks unstoppable. It looks unstoppable. Hampton could even be on here because he got injured and he didn't. But this is an unstoppable revenge tour board. Just an amazing, eclectic group of ballers right there. Thank you, Husseini. I agree with you. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Travis Hunter, according to Liam Cohen, looks great right now. And let me just say this right now. For those that are going to say Travis Hunter, he's going to move to DB. He may play more DB than we want this year from an offensive fantasy football perspective. Like if that's what we're hoping for, if we're not an IDP and we're just hoping. But that's not locked in. Everybody that wants to be first on something, they heard it on another channel and they want to sound smart. Like, and the other channel, it said, Smitty, that he's playing DB and only DB. This derives from Liam Cohen's kind of cryptic. They didn't mean to be. He was just talking about Travis Hunter, saying didn't go the way they wanted. They're certainly going to get him, more defensive reps, and they're going to potentially still play it very liquid. This is going to be a loosey-goosey, totally liquid situation. Okay, they're not going to commit to anything yet. There's still a world where Travis Hunter gets way more wide receiver reps than anybody expects right now. But the beautiful part about this is the narrative is so strong that Travis Hunter will not be playing wide receiver this year is the very wrong. It's not that it can't be right, but it is not currently cemented in. That narrative makes him literally dirt cheap and free. I don't think anybody that has him is holding on to him very tightly. You could pull him away very, very cheaply. Second rounder, take a gamble. Trade a second round dynasty rookie pick for Travis Hunter. Trade a third tight end, second tight end, whatever you don't need. Do some sort of crafty trade and get Travis Hunter and just hold him because he is so uber talented. I believe he does find his way back in a prominent offensive role. And even if he does get narrowed down, he'll be so efficient because when he comes on the field, he's not coming on the field to be a decoy and they run him a go route to get him tired so he can go play defense. If he hits the field, he's probably getting the ball. There are some receivers that get 5 touches and they still do well every game. This guy could literally walk in and get 4 to 6 touches, not play even half the snaps in a worst case scenario, and he still has 70 yards and a touchdown every other game. And maybe he's more efficient that way. Who knows how this will play out? All I know is that he's dirt cheap. He's free. Go get him. Hold him on your roster in redraft on best ball underdog promo code Smitty. Or if you're just, going to draft early and he's still cheap, in August or July, then this is a guy you should be putting on your bench. You're not drafting him to be your fantasy football wide receiver 3 or 4, or your second flex. He is a bench wide receiver, no doubt, until further notice. And we do very, 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 very much believe in the other wide receivers on this roster in general. Like, this is a really good crew, and I'm pretty excited. Little announcement here soon. And I don't want that to take away from this particular moment here, because I don't want to derail what I'm saying here about Hunter. But let's just say we might have a potential moon man in the making from the wide receiver room that is not Travis Hunter, and it doesn't mean we don't love Travis Hunter. And in a way, you're going to cuff Hunter to said wide receiver, and it's going to be a glorious wide receiver cuffing, especially in best ball, as he can be one of your later bench guys. So Travis Hunter looks great right now, healing from that LCL. He should be good to go right now almost, and he will have a remarkable amount of value. Parker Washington! Maxx Crosby, according to Tom Pelissero, there's a lot of repair between the Raiders' edge Maxx Crosby, but the further quote that isn't sitting here visibly, because everybody likes to paint the narratives the way they want to paint them, like it's even cut off. It doesn't even have it here. The other part of this was that there's going to be a lot of repairing that needs to be done, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that it gets repaired. Like, that's what this whole report was supposed to say, and yet it doesn't, because people like to back what they've already said and try and tell a story and narrative that fits the narrative they've already spoke on. They've already put words out there. Kenneth Walker, this is the final piece of news. Then I'm going to touch on Jordan Tyson and open phone lines real briefly. And then any super chats that come in will be handled in order in which they're received. Thank you, Husseini, again for dropping that super chat. Thank you, my Rumblers. I got HK with a super chat over on Rumble, which is going to get immediate attention and a standing ovation. And New Age Outlaw gifting a membership over on Rumble. New Age, appreciate you very much for doing that. Let me give you a standing ovation, New Age, and then I'll give the standing ovation over for some New Age.
Mashed potatoes!
I smell meatloaf. That second one was for my boy HK, who dropped a super chat over on Rumble. Let's answer his question, hit Kenneth Walker's news, and then go over to Jordan Tyson and open briefly the phone lines before Smitty goes and gets a Costco pizza. I smell meatloaf. And for all of you lacking confidence, worried about your little TikToks and, oh, I wear my expensive $250 shoes while I'm at Costco, I will shop for clothes.
Let him cook.
I don't know what age you flip when you say these Costco clothes are pretty good. Costco has some clothes, and if you don't know it, you're probably 22 years old. You're told Costco doesn't have clothes. They've got some of the best brands that are known to man. It's overflow. It's overstock. It's not that you're not buying a Costco brand shirt. You're buying Quicksilver. You're buying all these different brands. Okay, so I don't want to hear the Adidas shoes. They got an overstock. It's fantastic. I'm buying clothes tonight.
Let him cook.
Sick and tired of this Costco narrative. Some of the best clothes you'll find. HK. Is there a current LV wide receiver that gets a big bump just looking? Trey Tucker probably, but I honestly, bro, I think it ends up becoming a smaller issue later. So you're going to invest high and it's going to crash. So the answer is Trey Tucker, but not really. I think I'm waiting for that rookie receiver to land there or the free agent wide receiver. Thank you very much. Good question, though. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport said the Seahawks could use the franchise tag or transition tag to keep Kenneth Walker. I think the transition tag seems more likely, to be honest. But I think that they're working a deal out. Regardless of what the tag is, he will get extended and or given a new contract. And because he's a free agent, so not extended, he'll get a new contract. It will probably be the transition tag, and that will allow them to keep him, and they will sign a deal. And Walker, there's a lot of weird stuff going on right now about the GM being plastered, and he's like, Walker tried to negotiate. He's at the microphone, sitting there. He's all, Walker tried to negotiate with me just a minute ago. It was weird. And he looked over at Walker, who's standing right next to him, and Walker's like, because Walker's serious, bro. He's about ball. He's like your boy Smitty. I'm all business. I'm at New Year's Eve, the ball's dropping. Good for all you that non-Costco shoppers are out there partying it up. You're at the local bar. You're paying a $50 cover. I'm in here watching, Game of Thrones reruns while I'm working on rankings. That's the ball drops. I don't even give it. All I'm worried about is when it hits midnight, I hit the button, switch over rankings to 2026. That's what I do. Okay, Walker and I are the same type of person. We're all about business. We got the GM up here going, Walker's really weird. You're weird, Walker. It was awkward. No doubt about it. Everybody's talking about how awkward it is. But the GM has very little conversation with Walker's worried about his team. He's worried about his boys. They just won a Super Bowl. This is where he thrived. This is where he wants to be. This is where Charbonnet is. Charbonnet and him are best buds. The greater concern isn't does he get a deal done. The greater concern is what happens with Charbonnet's back and ready to go. What do they do? And even though Walker did break off that 40-plus yard touchdown run, which was absolutely... The weird thing about Walker, though, and why I tread a little carefully drafting Walker too high, is that he doesn't really come with a lot of overall value across the board, game in and game out. It's usually eyeball test, he's a monster. But he walks away from this game with no touchdown, which he's got a nose for the end zone, and they call this touchdown back. But that is some of the production you're going to get out of Walker. And then eventually Charbonnet will be back in the mix. And then you're just like, what are you getting out of the guy? You're getting 115 yards, no touchdown, or you're getting a touchdown and 45 yards. Like, at the end of the day, you're wanting somebody that's going to get you 150 and a touch, 125 and a touch. And so the only caution I will have with Walker is if you're buying him at top of round 3 off of all the hype, there is concern about end of season, last 8 weeks, last 7 weeks, what Charbonnet's taking from him. And are they feeding him aggressively in all facets, or is it literally lean on him for one thing and don't give him the other thing? That's the only problem with Walker lately, at least. It's all yardage and no touchdowns, or, it could be the other way. But it's just a little bit of a concern for me at the new cost of entry. But I love Walker. Walker is one of the first, he's the first Moon Man ever on this channel. And he's fantastic. And for that reason, I'll hit the button. But I'm just saying, be careful not overdrafting him, because his situation isn't exactly the most cemented and safest situation because of what we've seen over and over,
Kenneth Skywalker.
And for those saying, where is your Kirkland stuff from Costco? I don't own a single Kirkland piece of clothing, shoes, socks, nothing. Everything I buy from Costco, which people just don't like. I think I'm wearing these shorts I got from Costco. But these are Quicksilver. These are Quicksilver shorts. These are Quicksilver shorts overstocked at Costco. There's no Kirkland brand that you're buying over there. You're buying high quality product. And the fact that people don't know that, you're 22 years old and you haven't realized it yet. You turn 30, 31. You're walking one day, you short circuit and you just head to Costco to buy clothes because Costco has an amazing group of products that come in and out. You walk the aisles. Some days you don't see it. Some days Costco doesn't have anything. It's like a box of chocolates. Every time you go, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to get. And all of a sudden you turn down the aisle and there's some Quicksilver pants or shorts or a combination pack that is sitting there for $19.99. And when you wear it out on the town, it looks like you bought it at the board shop down the street for $49.99. Time is it? 7 o'clock. We got to get down to that pizza. The pizza's amazing. Is the pizza at Costco not good? Meatloaf. That Kirkland pizza. Maybe the only thing I consume that might be Kirkland would be the pizza. Jordan Tyson. So back on Tyson and then we're done. Let me just tell you right now, guys. You're going to hear a lot about this soon, but, we've been speaking about it for months, so you know where you heard it first. A lot of people are going to copy this channel. We got a lot of people that copy this channel. When we come out with bold predictions, people start doing content on some of the players we do. Jordan Tyson, I like Carnell Tate a lot. Carnell Tate goes to a better spot than Jordan Tyson, then Carnell Tate will be ranked higher than Jordan Tyson by me. If Tyson's in, let's say, New York, playing second fiddle to neighbors, he can only be so good. You know, can only be so good. But if let's say Tyson goes to the Washington Commanders or the Tennessee Titans or the Cleveland Browns, and Tate goes to the best one of those three, Tyson's still better. Tyson has the most ability to become the next top 5 wide receiver out of any of the wide receivers in this class. And Jordan Tyson has the length, the big play ability to be the next CeeDee Lamb. Carnell Tate has a little bit of that Chris Carter to him. Doesn't have the same game or skill set as Tyson. Catches everything. Carnell Tate doesn't drop that football at all. Mekhi Lemon's got some nice routes and good, precision, but he's slow and small. Tyson is big. He's lanky. He's got good hands. He might drop the ball once in a while. This is CeeDee Lamb, but the potential is through the roof. This guy is my 1.2, clear as day right now. If I'm drafting blind, not knowing the landing spots, it is Jordan Tyson, number 2 overall in rookie drafts. It is Jordan Tyson. It is no one else. Landing spot could screw me. The workouts could definitely help vault him into that Tennessee Titans spot, which honestly at first it isn't what I wanted, but as you break down all the landing spots, the Titan spot is probably the best because it's before this Giant spot. I don't want him going there. You don't want him in New Orleans playing second fiddle to Olave. You don't really want him in KC because the odds of Rice missing time, I think, is kind of high, but missing his entire career, so he'll come back. Where you want Tyson, you don't want Tyson falling deep into this territory. If Tate and Lemon take the only 2 wide receiver spots that get grabbed in the top 10, then all of a sudden you have Tyson falling here. This is a good spot. Tennessee would be good. Cam Ward is good enough. The offense should be cooking. Salah should have this team really turning around. Overall, I think it's a nice spot. Salah picked a good spot. At first, I didn't like it, but you add Tyson to it, and it makes a lot of sense. You bring in maybe a Dowdle or something like that. All of a sudden, this team's pretty effective from Jump Street. Tyson and Cam, that's fine. There are wide receivers like JJ that are getting thrown to by J9. Like, I think we can accept Cam Ward as a pretty good option for Tyson. He goes to Cleveland. I still like it, but I like it better in Tennessee than in Cleveland. I like Washington the very most out of all 3. But Tyson, if he goes to Tennessee, is top 6 to 10 capable. Don't draft him there. Understand that you don't need to, but just know that you might be looking at a 6 to 10 wide receiver monster of the future. His skill set's out of this world. He's such a good player. He has so much upside, and you pair him with a quarterback like Cam in a number 1 spot, and he's going to do wonders. He's going to be amazing. The only downside, period, is that he's been injured a little bit, and there is that concern. But I'm not going to necessarily write him off or try and pigeonhole him into he's an injury-prone player yet. He's a college player. Very, very, freak injuries sometimes happen, and I don't think I'm willing to stray away from the value and talent because of some college injuries. He still looked remarkable when he's on the field, and this kid's going to have NFL coaching, NFL training, the ability to stay healthy, the ability to train to stay healthy. This guy is a absolute marvel in the making. Jordan Tyson should be everybody currently 1.1, which can change and fluctuate depending on the landing spot. Jordan Tyson to the moon. And in fact, let's put him on the list right now. I'm going to put him on the Mars Man.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Man. Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
Mars Man list indeed. This man, Jordan Tyson. And the date we added him, let's get rid of this, what is it, the third spot we need to get rid of here. Let's add the date. The date is what? It's 2/13, day before Valentine's Day. Guys, get your girls something today. Don't forget, you got tonight to do it. So hopefully you haven't put it off. I think about 60% of you have put it off. Why don't you head over to Costco right now? Get her a pair of Quicksilver shorts. That will do wonders for the home life. Hey, honey, I got you a pair of his and her Quicksilver shorts. Yeah, doing it live. Mars Men list.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men. Loads dropping and spinning in.
God, our lists look good. Look at this. Here, I'll go through all 4 of them.
The Jupiter men. Jupiter is so large. Every planet in the solar system could fit inside.
Value, 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 value.
Jupiter men.
All value.
The Saturn men.
Value.
Small step for man.
Value.
One giant leap for Saturn.
He's on a shuttle to Mars.
Value.
Mars men.
Value. Value.
The moon men. Dropping loads in outer space.
Sleeper. Value. Value. God, we're
Space Monsters.
doesn't it feel like it's gonna be undefeated? Like all these lists feel undefeated. Oh, I forgot I put him on here already. This is a secret. I wasn't supposed to show this yet. Well, shit. Hey, the perks of being here every day, hey? Yeah? Nobody knows that one's there. Phone lines open real quickly. Phone lines are open real quickly. We got to get down to cop.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
20-second phone calls only. You speak your piece. I'll answer the question. I might hang up on you during my answer. I might feel intrigued to give you more time. So it depends on what you say. New Age Outlaw, kind of immune from being hung up on. He kind of gets like almost free reign. Go ahead, New Age. You're live.
I just had a quick question here. Marv mentioned, would you take, in the chat it was Pearsall and Waddle, or would you take Michael Wilson?
That's a good question. I think that I could change my mind like mid-season. You know, it's that kind of value.
Yeah.
I'd give me Michael Wilson for now.
All right, I'm out. Thank you, brother.
He had such a good year, but I mean that could change. Pearsall's pretty nice, but I think the Niners bring in somebody, bro, like Mike Evans, and you know there are a lot of Niner fans think they're getting everybody. There's a lot of JJ stuff going around right now. Like Niners should get JJ. It's like yeah, let's just go do that. let's just go get him. I mean, you know, Niner fans are like, we should bring Aaron Rodgers in as a backup. Yeah, he'll come back just to be a backup. Yeah, just go do that. Everything's possible. You can get anybody. What do they? What does he want to start for? He just coming back up. It's no problem. All right, 2 more phone calls. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Remember when Aaron Rodgers was deciding whether he was going to play? Everyone's like, just bring him in as a backup. Yeah, I think I'll come. Yeah, I think I'll come back to football for a year, but I'll do it as a backup. Costco Pizza's calling my name. If no one else is going to dial in real quickly, we'll be out of here. We'll be back at midnight Eastern. Appreciate all my super chatters. I think we had Husseini drop this. I had Costco. Oh, I had Costco Pizza and a hot dog yesterday, says Husseini. Husseini, thank you very much for dropping the additional super chat. I'm sorry I didn't see that. You get a standing ovation for that one. Thank you, New Age. Thank you to my gifted members today, the super chatters. Husseini dropped 2 super chats. Husseini also gifted, let me see. He gifted 10 memberships, I think it was, or 5. And then Wolf gifted 5 as well. So appreciate all of you dropping the gifted memberships. Husseini, Wolf, Husseini with the super chats. We had the super chat on Rumble from HK. We had New Age dropping his gifted membership. Appreciate everybody. Go over and subscribe to the Rumble channel. I think this is the link still. Let me see if I can find the link and post it. We need you to subscribe to Rumble. Rumble's blowing up as soon as we get to 10K. Look at it this way. If you're like, well, I don't watch on Rumble. If we get to 10K, there's a strong chance that YouTube can, just like Rumble's been riding the coattails of YouTube shows, really is what we're doing to build the Rumble channel up. And the Rumble's responding. They're like, that's fine. If you're going to go live on YouTube and you're going to let us come along for the ride, we're going to grow this community. And we're on our way to 10K doing that. If we decide to create a Rumble show and let YouTube come along for the ride, you're going to want another show, are you not? Who doesn't want, and I'm not saying this happens right away. A new show is injected into the content at 10K followers on Rumble. It's going to be a Rumble show. I don't know how many days a week yet. My goal is to eventually get it. If Rumble blows up enough, we'll have the Rumble show Monday through Friday at noon to 1. You know, during that Pat McAfee time slot. Like, we'll literally have a show every day. Like, that's what my goal is. At first, it'll be 1 day a week. We'll see. But as Rumble grows, it's going to need this. We're gonna need to feed the beast. I'll see you all at midnight Eastern. BBQ dropping a mother freaking $50 holler.
$50. Give me $50 holler. Let that bottle brother Smitty. Give me $50. Oh, yeah.
BBQ, you're a monster, bro. You just bought a pair of shorts and the pizza tonight.
Mashed potatoes.
I'm not kidding. I think I could get the pie and a pair of shorts for the super chat. Even after YouTube takes 30%. I think I can get it done. And not to mention add on Husseini's. We're good to go. We're good to go.
Mashed potatoes.
That's my boy, BBQ. BBQ says, what if your prediction for the biggest offseason move, trade, and then a surprise no one sees coming? I'll drop 50 memberships if you get either one right. Okay, my biggest prediction for the offseason. Biggest prediction for the offseason. And the one no one sees coming. A surprise no one sees coming. Biggest prediction of the offseason. I'm going to say man, this is a tough one. I'm going to say probably the Minnesota Vikings acquire a new quarterback. I'm not saying that that's the surprise one because we all know that, but they're going to get either Mac Jones or make some massive move. I believe that this is going to be a situation where JJ returns to value. I think the Vikings will remedy this situation. I think Mac Jones they offer something massive for Mac Jones, and they bring Mac Jones in. That's probably the biggest move because that's a quarterback. I think Pickens could get traded, but there's still a chance he doesn't. I don't think maybe AJ Brown. I think that those would be the biggest moves. AJ Brown being traded. The thing is, AJ Brown's going back and forth. You know, he's kind of like Aiyuk was when Aiyuk was like, I want to be traded. And then when they tried to pull the trigger, Aiyuk got homesick. It's like, I do want to be traded. And that's why Ayuk's a basket case. AJ Brown seems like he's wanting to stay again. So that part's tough. I'd probably say, man, the surprise move no one sees coming. I kind of want to say, let's see here. Surprise no one sees coming. Mike Evans. Let's see here. No, I don't know. I might have to think about this. BBQ, can you give me time? Can I announce these two at the end of or at tonight's show? I'm going to announce these tonight at midnight. I don't want to lock these in. Yet. I want to give you really good answers. So I'll tell you tonight. So thank you. I'm gonna take back my Viking one too. I'm gonna answer that question. I'm gonna keep this on screen, BBQ, and we'll talk about it tonight. I'll see you all tonight at midnight Eastern. I definitely need to think about this one, and so I'm gonna put this right here on the end screen so that I have it and we can pull it up later. So there it is right there. And then, BBQ dropping another gifted or a $20 super chat. This guy wants me to get two board shorts, I think. Contributing to the Costco Pizza Hot Pocket Fund. Love it. We might get 2 pies and at least a pair of shorts, or 2 board shorts and a pie. I don't know. Maybe a cookie. One of those big monster cookies. I don't know if we'll have time. BBQ, appreciate you. I'll give you your answer tonight, though, okay? I don't want to rush it. I want to give you a really good answer. I'll see you all at midnight Eastern, live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's the show you're watching right now. Live whenever big news breaks, and live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. I'll see you all at midnight Eastern. Deuce. Thank you, BBQ. Thank you, Husseini. Thank you, New Age. Thank you, HK. Thank you, everybody.